Welcome to Adeliz, the Cinder Wind. As far as opening hand goes, yeah, I like it. We don't really have any sort of card advantage or any sort of card draw, but I kind of like what we've got going on. We do have two wizards. We have Grim Lavamancer and Soulscar Mage, and then also two lands in the hand, Lightning Bolt and Insult to Injury to hopefully amplify some of our bigger turns out to get a little bit of an advantage against Oloro. Augur of Bolas, okay. It's going to get down Command Tower. What are we going to tap out for? It's going to get down Soulscar Mage. I think I like that. It's going to be 1 red mana. Could go for Grim Lavamancer, but we just don't have the graveyard for it at this point right now. Anything else, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. We're playing Adeliz, the Cinder Wind. Flying in haste. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, wizards you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So basically, this deck is, if you did not see the deck tech, this is a blue-red prowess deck. It's a lot of fun to pilot. I've had a lot of... I don't know, just makes for some really interesting matches. It's not that overpowered in Commander either, which makes it kind of fun to play. Let's go and go for Augur of Bolas. That way we can look at the top 3 cards of our library. Maybe we can grab something that'll help us maybe dig a little bit deeper, maybe work towards a land next turn. Ooh, there we go. All right, none of those. All right, put those onto the bottom. And actually, it would have been nice to draw on all 3 of those. Let's go and push it for 1. We're going to knock our opponent down to 33 off of that Oloro trigger. And then we'll go and pass turn to our opponent. We're playing against Oloro. Ageless. Mr. Lazy Boy over here is going to sit in his Lazy Boy chair. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gain 2 life. Then, whenever you gain life, you may pay 1. If you do draw a card for each opponent, whenever you gain life, you may pay 1. If you do draw a card and each opponent loses 1 life, then at the beginning of your upkeep, if Oloro is in your command zone, you gain 2 life. All right, see if we hit that land drop for the turn. Drawn to Island. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and get Island down. Let's go ahead and go for... Yeah, I think I like Tack. We are looking at about 4 open mana. But yeah, we can make this work. Let's tap out for our commander. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's go and push in with the whole crew. That will be 4 coming across, knocking them back down to 31, and then we'll kind of figure out how we want to sequence next turn. Now, if we do end up hitting the land drop for the turn, we can go for Grim Lavamancer and go for something like Insult to Injury. Typically with a card like Insult to Injury, you want to be able to close it out in the turn that you're going for, at least get in as much damage as possible. So if we can get a little bit more mana going a little bit quicker, we can go for that to kind of really amplify our board state. Opponent's going to go for Karlov of the Ghost Council. Okay, now we do have Lightning Bolt in the hand. That's something definitely be a really good target off of Karlov because with them getting that steady life gain, it's going to end up with a lot of counters on it really, really quick. All right, drawn to Lava Runner. Let's go and do that. Let's go and go for Lightning Bolt on Karlov. We'll see if our opponent has some sort of counter spell. Okay, it's going to take care of Karlov. We're going to get an entire buff for the board. That's going to push across. That will be 8 coming across, knocking them down to about 25, and then also giving us 5 total commander damage. But yeah, as far as the deck goes, you know, I think the converted mana cost really taps out at about 5. We only have about 2 or 3 5 spells, and one of those spells is going to be a zombie, which is going to allow us to kind of get her down and really start ripping through some card draw once we go for that. Opponent's going to go for Austere Command, destroy all creature with a converted mana cost 3 or less. So it's going to take care of our entire board. And we draw to Naru. Let's go ahead and reset. Let's go and get down Lava Runner. This can be 1 red mana. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. But yeah, other than that, we're looking at mainly just converted mana cost 1, 2, 3 out of this deck. 2 is pretty much kind of what we top out at. Now, as far as some of our good utility spells, we do have Sword of Feast and Famine in here. That puts us in a spot where if we do have Adeliz down, you know, in this situation like this, it would allow us to kind of push past Oloro and then get some good extra mana off of that. But unfortunately, right now, we're only sitting at 3 lands, so we're going to keep our fingers crossed that we do hit that 4th land drop for the turn. Let's see, drawn to Turnabout. Okay. Now, as far as what we're going to get down, let's go ahead and get down Grim Lavamancer. Yeah, that's going to be red. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass turn. We're not going to swing in with the 1-2 against Oloro. And then with that extra life gain, they're going to be able to get some... yeah, they're going to pay 1, they're going to be able to draw a card, and then also make us lose a life, which is going to be giving them some pretty good card advantage at this point. That's the only downside to this deck, is something like an Austere Command that kind of wipes the entire board out. We do have a few counter spells in here, but when you're kind of really tight on mana like we were for those first early turns, then their opponent gets off to a pretty quick jump like that, makes it hard for you to really kind of get your board state established. So this is definitely one of those decks to where if you want to run some sort of counter spell package in here to kind of stop, prevent something from like Austere Command, completely wiping the board out. All right, see what we're drawn to. Drawn to Fell War Stone. Okay, it's better than nothing. Let's go and tap out for that. It's going to be 1, 2. And then it's going to enter the battlefield. Nothing else that we need to do for 2. That does put us online for either Turnabout or Master Wizard. And that's something we can kind of go for during our opponent's upkeep if we want to tap down all of their lands. Anything else? Yeah, let's just go and kick the turn over there. Now, one of the things that really helps this deck kind of push through, let's say we do have a pretty good board state established. We have some good stuff in here like Warlord's Fury and Crash Through. It's going to give all of our creatures either trample or first strike, and it also allows us to kind of get a good card draw off of that too. So that's something that allows us to kind of, even though it's not that high impact of a spell, if you have enough wizards on the battlefield, you're looking at some of these spells that only cost about 1. You can be able to start churning through some of these spells to really kind of amplify your board state. Now, what we can do is we can go for Nivik's Guild Mage if we wanted to get that down. We could also leave up Venser if we wanted to go for that too. I think at this point, we need to get as many wizards on the battlefield as quickly as possible. Do we want to tap out for Nivik's that bad? Yeah, let's just go and pass the turn. Our opponent's been drawing some cards off, but they have 4 cards in the hand. I kind of like leaving up at least some sort of counter spell to stop something from coming across. If we do end up hitting the land drop for next turn, we are looking at Brawl's Expertise, so that could be something that we could cast off Brawl's Expertise if they don't get something down. Or simply, worst case scenario, we can go for Naru, Master Wizard. That's another thing that we can go ahead and flash in. The cool thing about Naru is that it does give our wizards a nice little +1/+1 Tribal Lord bonus, but at the same time, if we're casting one of our lower instant or sorcery spells, that's going to also allow us to copy that spell for the turn too. All right, opponent's going to tap out for Phyrexian Arena. Yeah, let's go ahead and go for Venser. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. At least going to chew up some of their mana, sending that back for the turn. Okay, now opponent's going to retap out for a Johnny's Pride Mage, adding that 1 mana to their mana pool, and then also sending Phyrexian Arena back to their hand, getting down that Pride Mage. And then also no swinging from our opponent. Actually, excuse me, Oloro will be swinging in for 4, knocking us down to 21. Not going to go for any chump blocks on this one. We'll go and let that damage go through. Okay, drawn to Temple of Epiphany. Let's go and get that down. Let's get the Scry going. Get the Scurry, the Fever, the Insanity. Snapcaster Mage. Just go and put that on the... It'd be nice to get into Snapcaster, but unfortunately the Johnny's Pride Mage, I don't think we're going to be able to take advantage of it as quickly as possible. So let's go and put Snapcaster on the bottom for right now. And let's go ahead and push in with... Yeah, I think I like going for this one. Let's go and push in with Lava Runner and Venser. If our opponent wants to block with a Johnny's Pride Mate, what we can do is we can flash in Naru and kind of catch that Johnny off guard. And I kind of like going for that one. So let's go and do that. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. Flash in Naru. It's going to be a nice, some pocket sand wizard tribal right there. Going to take care of a Johnny's Pride Mate. Knock our opponent down to 34, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. All right, there we go. Yeah, Pride Mate is definitely one of those cards in a life gain deck that can get out of hand really quick. If you've ever played against Soul Sisters in Modern, it gets pretty big pretty quick, so you got to watch out for that one. We're kind of finally, it is turn 10, we're only looking at 5 lands, or at least 5 mana on the battlefield at this point, so hopefully we can start hitting in a few more lands. But this is pretty much the kind of board state you do want to develop with Adeliz. We've got some good stuff in the hand too, so unfortunately when you're playing against a heavier control deck like something like Oloro, where they have a ton of board wipes and stuff like that, it kind of makes it hard for you to get some good stuff going. Yeah, just like I was saying, Black Sun Zenith is going to take care of our entire board state. We'll see if we can bounce back from this one. Okay, we got Oloro swinging in for 1. That's going to get the commander damage clock going up pretty quick. It's going to put us all the way up to 5 total commander damage instead of 4. So we'll see if we can survive that. Our opponent will finally retap out for Phyrexian Arena getting that down. Okay, drawn to Mizium Skin. Yeah, we need to get some stuff moving, so let's go and do this. Let's go and go for Guild Mage. The good thing with Guild Mage is that it's going to allow us to get in another activation to draw a card and discard a card. Let's see if we can't hit the land drop for the turn. All right, finally hit Mountain. Do we want to hold on to Mizium Skin or Turnabout? I feel Turnabout's going to be a little ambitious on this one. You know, if our opponent had a ton of tokens or something on the battlefield, I'll go and hold on to it. But Mizium Skin actually works out really well with what we're trying to do. So let's go and get rid of Turnabout. And I still like Brawl's Expertise as a little bit of a tempo play. So we'll get rid of that one. Just going to make the lane drop for the turn, get down Mountain, and then anything else we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. But yeah, like I was mentioning earlier, when you're playing against a bunch of board wipes or something that's really heavy control, at least in a 1 versus 1 setting, it's really hard for you to kind of get that board state established. One of the main win conditions for the deck is getting a lot of wizards down to take advantage of Adeliz's ability, getting that +1 off prowess. But another thing that we can do is, let's say something like this does happen, we've had a couple board wipes knock out a few of our wizards, getting some stuff down like Young Pyromancer and then Dawson of Perfection is going to allow us to kind of start turning our spells into a few more creatures on the board. So that's another way for us to kind of bounce back from something like this. So if we do draw into one of those 2 creatures, we can get that going. We also have Talrand in here, which is a lot of fun. Get those 2/2 Drake tokens on the battlefield. So let's see what our opponent's going to be tapping out for. Our opponent gets down Archangel of Thune, and they're also going to go for Baneslayer Angel. A flying first strike, lifelink protection from demons and dragons, and it's also going to give him an additional life gain off the Aether Flux Reservoir. Okay, we got a Oloro swinging in for 2 that's going to knock our commander damage up to 7, and then knock us all the way down to 13. Let's see what we're going to draw into for the turn. Drawn to Riptide Laboratory. Let's go and get that down. Do we want to go for Baral's Expertise on this one? Either way, we're looking at about, yeah, because whenever they gain life, put a +1 counter on each creature you control. That's going to make Oloro a 3/4. That's going to be a 5/6. That's going to be 8. We're looking at about 13, so we're going to have at least some sort of blocker in the air. I'm not sure what we could draw into, but let's just go for Baral's Expertise, bouncing all 3 of these cards back to our opponent's hand. They're not at that 50 life total yet for Aether Flux Reservoir, so we don't have to worry about that one. And especially if they spend next turn, simply just recasting a bunch of stuff like that. So it's going to tap out for that. All right, let's go and push in for 2. It's going to knock our opponent down to 40. Just slowly chipping away at that Aether Flux Reservoir. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. But yeah, long story short, playing this Wizard deck against Oloro is typically not one of our, probably not going to be one of our more of our favorable matchups. But we've gotten to see kind of what the deck can do. You can see where, you know, if we didn't run into a few of those board wipes, we'd have Augur, Bola, Soulscar Mage on the battlefield. You also get getting into those fun interactions where you get to flash in Naru. Especially, you know, if you have an entire board state of Wizards, flashing this in, giving that Lord ability, really kind of gives you some really good board presence off of that one. Let's see what our opponent else is going to tap out for. They do have Archangel of Thune hitting the battlefield and Baneslayer Angel. Okay, and our opponent does end up passing the turn to us, so we draw into Telling Time. So we're looking at our commander. This is going to be 5 total mana, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to give us 2 mana left over. Our commander does have haste, but at this point right now, we're staring down a 6/6 and a 5/6 with that life gain. We're getting really close to that Aether Flux Reservoir. They got 7 cards in the hand. We'll go and get our commander down, but it is not looking so hot right now. So let's go and tap out our Riptide Laboratory. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, unfortunately, this is one of those decks where since our converted mana cost is so low, I think we're running about 35 lands in here, which is in my playtesting was perfectly fine, but you do kind of run into a few games like this where it gets a little bit clunky sometimes. Anything else, yeah, let's just go and pass turn to our opponent. Now, stuff like Mizium Skin, you get that overload ability. You know, you're trying to get as many wizards on the battlefield as possible. So something with overload like Mizium Skin is really good for the deck, and it also kind of pulls in that double duty, allowing us to kind of protect our entire board state if something were to happen with some sort of spot removal. Hey, and there's going to be some times where that +0/+1 really kind of makes a difference. And, you know, you're dealing with a bunch of wizards that are 2/2s, or, oh, there we go, Elish Norn coming down. All right. It's going to seal the deal on this one. But yeah, so you're running a lot of wizard cards. You know, as you can tell, a lot of them are looking at 1/3s or 1/2s in the graveyard. And so going for something like Mizium Skin is going to allow you to kind of have those complicated combat steps to where you might be able to kind of trade with a bunch of creatures and leave a bunch of wizards onto the battlefield. All right, we got the whole Angel Crew swinging across. It's going to knock us down to 3 with that first strike damage, and the regular damage knocks us down to 7. There. Oloro will take it on this one. Unfortunately, some of those heavier control decks is definitely not one of our favorite matchups on this one, but we got to see a pretty good showing from the deck and what is possible. There's also some really good stuff with Venser and Riptide Laboratory, you know, return target wizard you control to its hand, so there's some pretty cool interactions in the deck, but unfortunately, Oloro's going to get it on this one, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.